please rise for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, and welcome to the November 25th, 2025 regular meeting of the Jackson Township Council. Pursuant to the provisions of New Jersey's Open Public Meeting Act, adequate notice of this meeting was properly provided by transmitting a notice of the meeting on January 28, 2025 for publication. Notice of this meeting of the Township Council is posted in the corridor of the municipal building and in the office of the municipal clerk. We will begin with a roll call. Councilman Borelli?
Here.
Councilman Bressi? Absent. Council Vice President Palmieri?
Present.
Council President Bernstein?
Here.
Also present this evening is Mayor Kuhn, Attorney McGuckin, and Veronica Dagner. The next item on the agenda is the oath of office of Councilman Pollock.
Mr. Pollock?
Come on, photo.
Somebody holding the Bible for you?
Come on. I'm gonna come up. Hold the Bible.
Here you go. Thank you. Please repeat after me. I, Christopher Pollock,
I, Christopher Pollock,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance
and I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
and
to the governments established
the government established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in the state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties as councilperson
perform all the duties as councilperson
for the Township of Jackson,
for the Township of Jackson,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
We will now hear opening comments from the Township Council, starting with Council President Bernstein.
Thank you, Clerk Martin. First of all, congratulations to Mr. Pollock and to his entire extended family and team. Welcome. We look forward to working with you and getting a lot of wonderful things done for the taxpayers of Jackson. A special thank you to all of the residents who donated by the food drive that was held, I think it was 2 Sundays ago. An especially big thank you to Joy from the food pantry. We managed to put together, I think, close to $5,000 in donations and an entire truckload of delicious, healthy-looking, a lot of pasta, a lot of sauces. Thank you to everyone, to my colleagues here, to DPW for sending some of their staff down to open the building to get everything ready. It got cold and windy as the day went on, and I appreciate everyone who managed to make it out there. And we look forward, hopefully, in the next couple weeks, on announcing another one before the holiday season. So thank you to everyone who managed to come out. A quick Rova Farms update. The engineer did send me, Mr. Quinn, a video of the renderings. It was actually really cool. But when I looked at it, there were a couple things that weren't 100% accurate yet. So he said, hopefully by the next council meeting in December, that will be ready to show to the public. But in the meantime, the drainage design and landscape designs are underway. The engineers are working on the DEP permitting packages. And next week, they will be digging the test pits with the DPW, which will hopefully save the township a couple dollars for drainage and structural design. So that's moving forward. As everyone may have seen this past week, we put out a press release on the town website that the rental list is now available. That idea came up on the day of the food drive. I met with Councilman Pollock, and it was brought up. It was a great idea. We right away ran to the mayor, and the mayor instantly approved allowing that information to be public, something that should have been really public for years. It's a list of all the rentals in town, and really the purpose is, besides for transparency, if you see a rental in your neighborhood, you're not sure, is it legal, not legal? The first thing to do is check on that list. It's about 1,900 addresses on there. It may take a little bit of time to figure out how the list works, and we will be reaching out to code to see if there's any way to make it a little bit more user-friendly. But it's a list where you can go through it and see if an address in your neighborhood is registered or not, which is definitely a very necessary first step. Additionally, just people have asked me about putting more information on that list. Right now, it's just addresses. When code first sent me the list, it had on it not the tenants' names, but it did have the landlords' names and the management company names. And after speaking to legal and to code enforcement, they had concerns with that. So as of now, it's just addresses. If it ends up being differently, we'll obviously update the public. Additionally, many people have asked about with some of the rental issues in town, which I'm sure is going to be a continued subject of conversation. The mayor has authorized our code enforcement department to start having extended hours. Many of the rental issues in town it's hard to really tackle during the workday. So we're going to be working with our code department and the members of the governing body and administration to hopefully add some hours so they can be around to hopefully find the issues that we all see with our own eyes. But sometimes during the day, it's harder when people are at work or children are at school. A couple quick small other updates. The township also announced that there are some minor upgrades or changes going on to South New Prospect by Louisiana Parkway. So just be mindful if you're driving in that area over the next couple of days that there may be some traffic detours. Louisiana Parkway was closed off part of the day today, and I'm sure over the next couple of days there'll be more. There were multiple residents who reached out asking. There was another accident on South New Prospect and Citadel, and I just want to give everyone an update. We reached out to the county and asked them what they can do. The county said a quick fix would be to add additional striping, advanced warning signs, and perhaps a flashing light, a stop sign on each side of Citadel Drive, which is a temporary fix. And they went through the numbers. I just want to bring out for the residents here. In 2023, there were 5 crashes in that area. In 2024, there were 6. And unfortunately, in 2025, which is not over yet, there were already 7. So we are working with the county to see what we can do on this busy roadway, which unfortunately has been having a lot of different accidents. Really, just as the year, we have one more council meeting this year. Look forward to hopefully seeing another similar size crowd. But over the next couple of weeks, I look forward to reaching out to all of my council colleagues as we start planning for the 2025 years to figure out where everyone would like to put their talents and their time with regard to liaisons to some of our different departments, some of our different boards. And I look forward to hearing constructive feedback from all of our residents also. Thank you and have a wonderful night.
Council Vice President Paul Mary.
Thank you, Clerk. Congratulations, Councilman Pollack. Look forward to working with you. I'd like to also congratulate Manja on celebrating 10 years at their Jackson location. Manja was our August small business highlight, and it's great to see them continuing to grow and succeed. Tonight, we'll also be recognizing another outstanding local business, Bella Italia, our October small business highlight. Jackson is fortunate to have so many wonderful small businesses, and it's truly a passion of mine to visit them, meet the owners, the customers, and learn more about their stories and their impact on our community. Another area that is absolutely essential to the strength of our town is our public schools. Over the last 8 years, the Murphy administration has put the Jackson School District at a significant disadvantage, cutting state aid by more than 54%, despite only a 15% decline in enrollment. These cuts have forced the district to make incredibly difficult decisions. But I want to acknowledge the Board of Education, the administration, our teachers, and all staff. They work tirelessly to do the very best they can with the limited resources they've been given. Supporting our schools has been a personal passion of mine in every role I've held, whether it was attending Assembly Budget and Finance Committee meetings in Trenton to advocate for Jackson, or working here on council to cover the cost of our 2 SROs so the school district could redirect the $235,000 to students and teachers. We must always do our part to support our businesses, our school district, and all who make Jackson what it is. And that includes supporting each other. Even when we disagree, we should do so in a way that does not tear one another apart. Jackson is a great town, and if we all work together, it can become an even greater one. So thank you.
Councilman Borelli.
Thank you, Clerk Martin. Congratulations to Councilman Pollock. I'm excited for you as you begin this honorable journey. I look forward to working with you in our town's governing body to serve all the residents of Jackson. Our town is sponsoring an annual Christmas tree lighting on Saturday, starting at 4 p.m. on December 6th here at Town Hall. Jackson's own Santa Jim will be in attendance, and the Jackson Baptist Church Choir will be there. I've heard them sing. They are very good. And the menorah lighting will be held at Town Hall here on Monday, December 15th, starting at 4:40 p.m. I hope you can join us at these great holiday events in our town. In closing, I just want to say I'm thankful for my health, family, and the honor of serving as a councilman for you, the residents of Jackson. I want to wish you all, our fellow residents, a wonderful and blessed Thanksgiving. It's great to see this crowd here. Take care and have a good evening.
Councilman Pollock.
They didn't expect me to be sitting up there with them. But we are here today. I got to say, I am very happy to serve the people of Jackson. Honestly, I'm not necessarily happy to be here. This election woke up a lot of people. The results were not subtle, and there was a mandate. The residents of Jackson sent a message that they're tired of how business has been done, and they want change. I didn't run because I like politics. In fact, I can't stand politics. I can't stand politicians. And I think most people feel the same way. I can't stand what politics has become in this town, Ocean County, New Jersey, and even on the national level. And I'm going to say something that most people in my position would never say in a microphone on day one. I don't trust all the people who've been making decisions for that town, all right? I know you're not supposed to talk that way once you get elected. You're supposed to smile, shake hands, and pretend everything is fine. After this election, you know everything is not fine. And we definitely need changes, and I think they heard the message a little bit. I didn't get elected by playing that game of being nice and being friendly. I got elected by telling the truth. And the truth is, there are problems that we need to fix. I understand this job isn't easy, and no matter what you do, some people are going to be unhappy. This position isn't about power. It's not about status. It's not about being important. It's a position of service. Service to every resident of Jackson, whether they voted for me or not. Now, this isn't my council seat. This is the people's council seat. You trusted me to sit in it, and I intend to honor that trust. I hope I can work with the other members of this council. I hope we can make good decisions together. I hope we can put aside the inside politics and serve the people honestly. But whether we work together or not, I'm going to do what I came here to do, fight for the people of Jackson, not developers, not special interests. To the people of Jackson, thank you for believing that change is possible. Thank you for refusing to stay silent, and thank you for giving me this responsibility. I will never forget who sent me here. Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is comments by Honorable Mayor Kuhn.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Welcome, Councilman, newly sworn in. Your speech, if you realized, you said that town, not our town. This is our town. It's not that town.
Ma'am,
And
you want
we-
to start this
no,
at
no,
the
no.
beginning? Is this how you want to start day one? This is how you want to start day one? This is why no one likes you and no one wants you in this position.
Order.
So,
You hear that? You hear that? Understand we're not playing these games anymore.
Councilman, it's time to speak. Order.
as I was saying, so what is going on right now? We are currently looking as administration to acquire 4.5 acres on Patterson Road. We just got the appraisal back and it overappraised. So that will be coming to the next executive meeting. And the township will hopefully be able to acquire some open space. Next, we are working, I was on a Zoom call for an hour today with the New Jersey DEP regarding our Johnson Park landfill that has been unaddressed for, I believe, 60 years, 50 years. So according to the DEP, they have never really sat with anybody from the administration to look at moving it forward to closing it so then we can finally start to use our parks. Therefore, the application is in. They anticipate us to have the approval with the leadership of our engineers by the end of the year. That is something that will be amazing. So therefore, we can start using Johnson Park for the hub it is, which is something that we're looking forward to. We can then do improvements and hopefully put the pavilion and stuff that we wanted on that park. Secondly, I have emails from a resident regarding our code enforcement and our police department. I'd like to read them. In the recent events with council and administration working together, they wanted to take the time to commend the swift and effective action of code enforcement on a matter that I called on with, I don't want to say the code enforcement's name, just for legal purposes, on a situation that was happening directly across the street from me, 2 illegal rentals that are now LLCs. The properties in questions were throwing massive garbage around and leaving it on the lawn. They were also renting 2 homes that had the same property without filling out any permits with town. The day I had called, the same exact day that code enforcement came, they did the investigation, they did their due diligence, and they did an amazing job. I spoke to Tom directly. I spoke to the code enforcement directly. He was empathetic, understanding, and very knowledgeable. He assured me that he would get to the bottom of this, and he did exactly that. So we want to thank the officer from code enforcement for doing that. Secondly, the same resident called to compliment the Jackson Police Department on their outstanding professionalism and people skills. He wanted to give the department a well-deserved shout out and express that he feels very secure living in the township because of the services that he receives. Lastly, we implemented lights out and new lights. So that system is in process with the engineer and going very, very well, I would say. Lights out reported in 2025, and I think, Council President, it's been implemented for, I don't know, a couple of weeks. 63 have been reported and will be sent to JCP&L for correction. In the previous years of 2023 and 2024, there was only 16 that were actually reported. So thank you and have a great evening.
The next item for tonight's meeting is an update from the Department of Public Works. Council President Bernstein.
Thank you. Leaf collection is proceeding as scheduled, and our crews are working very hard on this task. We are currently working in zones 5 and 1. Please do not be alarmed if you see crews working in your area before your scheduled collection date. We are simply trying to stay ahead of schedule. We will return on the advertised schedule start date for each zone. For all residents in zones 4 and 2, which were the first zones that started really before all the leaves were off the trees, we are planning to return for a secondary and final pickup starting December 8th. Please also excuse the appearance of the municipal building. Our buildings and grounds crews are currently working on some renovations. Lastly, we appreciate everyone's input on the street lighting issue in town and urge all residents to continue reporting outages by emailing lightsout@jacksontwpnj.net. Thank you for your patience and cooperation.
The next item of business is the presentation portion of the meeting. Council President Bernstein.
Yes, Mayor Kuhn.
We're going to do, we had a poster for community or clean community at Elms School, and all of the elementary schools, they all submitted posters, and we have the top 3 winners, which we're going to announce. Ms. Barron? Thank you. So we have Maximus for Elms Elementary School. If you can come up. Second place from Holman, we have Ivana. Ivana, are you here? I think there's kids outside. From Holman, in third place, we have Matthew. Alina from Switlick. First place. Is that you, honey? Come on. Congratulations. There you go. Katharina, if you're here from Switlick, please come up. You got second place. Angelina, third place. Switlick, if you're here, please come up. Congratulations. Here you go. You're welcome. Thank you. Olivia, first place. Johnson, if you're here, please come up. Good job. Thank you. You're welcome. Here you go. Sargi, second place. Johnson. I want to get your name off. Thank you. You did a great job. Natalie, third place for Johnson. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Layla, first place, Crawford. Good job, honey. Thank you. Good job. Anna, second place, Crawford. Dominic, third place, Crawford. Good job. Here you go. Thank you. Great job. Jimena, first place, Hallman. Sophia, third place, Elms. Congratulations, great job. Salvador, first place, Elms. If we can get all the winners of the kids up here, just so we can get a picture of you with your certificates. If all the kids can come up and take a picture with council.
A round of applause.
Great job, great job.
So to all the children, congratulations. Feel free to leave so that we can continue the meeting. We'll take a 30-second break so you guys could all leave. Or stay if you want. Wait for it. Okay. I assume he's coming. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so let's continue with the agenda. You'll call if he answers. Madam Clerk, you can continue. Thank you.
The next item of business is the second reading and public hearing of ordinance 2025-40.
No, Madam Clerk, it's presentation still.
Excuse me, I apologize. Thank you. The next item of business is a small business recognition portion. Council President Bernstein?
Council Vice President?
Council President.
Thank you. Do we have someone here from Bella Italia? He confirmed with me, but I don't see him here. Anyone from Bella Italia? Okay, maybe he had some come up. I'm going to read it anyway, and I can bring it to his business. Hopefully he's okay. He confirmed just the other day with me. So I want to congratulate Bella Italia for being Small Business of the Month, October 2025. Your dedication to excellence and commitment to our community exemplifies the spirit of entrepreneurship in Jackson Township. We appreciate your contributions and wish you continued success. I also wrote, I just wanted to congratulate his family. It's a family-owned business, a true staple to our community, known not just for great food, but for great people. They've built a reputation of quality, kindness, and commitment to Jackson that goes beyond their front doors. So we're grateful for what they bring to our town, and it's a pleasure to highlight them this month.
Congratulations.
Bella Italia.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next item of business is the second reading and public hearing of ordinance 2025-40, amending and supplementing the municipal code of the Township of Jackson so as to amend Chapter 244 entitled Land Use and Development Regulations, so as to revise residential density standards in the highway commercial mixed-use zone. At this time, if any member of the public has any comments to make, please address the council at the microphone. State your name and address clear for the record. You may only have 5 minutes and may only speak once. May I have a motion to open public comment?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Council?
Seeing no one come forward, I motion to close public forum.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? May I have a motion to adopt ordinance 2025-40?
Motion.
Second.
Councilman Borelli?
I'm glad to see this is being done, reducing the residential density that potentially could be implemented out there between the 195 corridor and Hurricane Harbor. It's a very...
Mr. Borelli, just double check your mic is on.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, now it's better.
Can everyone hear?
Yeah.
I'm glad to see that we're reducing the potential residential density out in that very busy area of our town, especially during the summer months, between the 195 corridor and Hurricane Harbor. So I vote in the affirmative, vote yes on this ordinance. Thank you.
Councilman Pollock?
I vote yes. This ordinance lowers density, and this is what we need more of. I hope this standard of lowering density is carried to every project and on every developer, no matter who they have ties to.
Council Vice President Palmieri?
I would just like to concur with everything that Councilman Borelli said, and I vote yes.
Council President Bernstein?
I concur with all three of my colleagues before. I just want to thank Attorney McGuckin for getting it to this point. So yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. The next item of business is the second reading and public hearing of ordinance 2025-44. Ordinance 2025-44, amending and supplementing Chapter 103 entitled Vehicles and Traffic, Article 14 Schedules. At this time, if any member of the public has any comments to make, please address the council at the microphone and state your name and address clear for the record. You will have 5 minutes and may only speak once. May I have a motion to open public comment?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Council?
Seeing no one come forward, I motion to close public forum.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? May I have a motion to adopt ordinance 2025-44?
Motion.
Second.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Pollock?
I'm going to abstain on this. I wasn't here for the first reading, so that's me tonight.
Council Vice President Palmieri?
Yes.
Council President Bernstein?
Yes, and again, just a thank you to our professionals for, this was an ordinance that came out, I mentioned it by the last council meeting, it came out through a planning board application, that there were concerns that the planning board put certain restrictions on the applicant, and they applied to the council, and council all agreed to ban parking in front of that application. So yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. The next item of business is the second reading of public hearing of ordinance number 2025-45, repealing ordinance number 2121 and reinstating all prior provisions of Chapter 298-6. At this time, if any member of the public has any comments to make, please address the council at the microphone and state your name and address clearly for the record. You will have 5 minutes and may only speak once. May I have a motion to open public comment?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Council?
Seeing no one come forward, I motion to close.
May I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? May I have a motion to adopt ordinance 2025-45?
Motion.
Second.
Councilman Borelli?
Council President Bernstein, didn't the state have to intervene, and this is why we're making the change?
So yes,
Repealing
I'm
the
just going to
ordinance
give the background how
on the
this came to our desk. It came while the mayor was still council president. There were multiple complaints that were made to code and to our building department and to our PD about noise on the western side of town off of Anderson in that corridor. And upon research, we realized that there were certain ordinances that were enacted, I think in 2023, that DCA actually informed the municipality at that point that they were in violation of DCA policy. Unfortunately, for some reason, that was never passed along to council. And now we are repealing it as per the guidance that we received from our legal team and the DCA.
Thank you. Yes.
Councilman
Yes.
Pollock? Thank you. Council Vice President Palmieri?
I call this a quality of life ordinance. I vote yes.
Council President Bernstein?
Yes.
Motion carries. The next item of business is the first reading and introduction of ordinance 2025-49, amending Chapter 244-12 entitled Fees with respect to lot consolidations and mergers. Council President Bernstein, are there any comments on ordinance 2025-49?
Yes, thank you. This ordinance, if adopted, would establish a fee to be paid by a property owner who merges or consolidates lots, thereby requiring a change to the township tax map. This fee would cover the cost of the tax map changes incurred by the township so that the cost is borne by the property owner, not the taxpayers. It results from a recommendation of the township tax assessor and is similar to recent changes made to the ordinance requiring such costs to be paid by a developer resulting from approved subdivision. And again, I just want to thank our tax assessor, Mr. Marr, for being really not giving up. He wanted to get in the last meeting. Unfortunately, it just didn't happen. So he followed up, and this really would just make sure the town would probably save a small amount, about $10,000 a year, that would be put on the developers or the home or the landowners and not on the taxpayers.
Are there any questions or comments by the Township Council? May I have a motion to approve ordinance 2025-49 on first reading and introduction to authorize the notice of the public hearing?
Motion.
Second.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Pollock?
Yes.
Council Vice President Palmieri?
Yes.
Council President Bernstein?
Yes.
Motion carries. The next item of business is the first reading and introduction of ordinance 2025-50, amending Chapter 103.279, establishing an additional one-way street for South Boston Road from Bennett's Mills Road to Tilford Street. Council President Bernstein, are there any comments on ordinance 2025-50?
Sure. This ordinance, if adopted, would implement the change recommended by the Jackson Township Police Department, together with our engineering department, to ensure that South Boston Road shall be a one-way street in a westerly direction from Bennett's Mill Road to Tilford Street.
Are there any questions or comments by the Township Council?
This was also a recommendation made from the Traffic Safety Unit as well, in our police department, regarding the public safety, in respect to public safety in that area of our town as well. So just want to emphasize that.
May I have a motion to approve ordinance 2025-50 on first reading and introduction and to authorize the notice of the public hearing?
Motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Pollock?
Yes, but if there's issues, I would like to hear from the people who live in that area. I did stop by and drive through there, and I understand the concerns, but I'd also love to hear more from the people, and that's what this government should be run on.
Council Vice President Palmieri?
I vote yes. And on the second reading, of course, anyone that wants to come out and speak, come out, let us know how you feel. That's what second reading's for. I vote yes.
Council President Bernstein.
Yes, and I just want to add, I spoke to Mr. Cunliffe, our engineer. There obviously are residents in that area who have very valid concerns. Our engineering department really went through a whole litany of different ideas and trying to rectify the safety issues and the traffic issues for that area. They send us, I think there were 5 different proposals that really came from residents there. So we are looking forward to hearing from the residents, and we will have Mr. Cunliffe here addressing any of the questions. And in the meantime, if any resident has any other ideas on how to best address some of those issues, please send an email. And Mr. Cunliffe is, he said he's hit the max on how many ideas he can think of. But if anyone else has any other idea that won't cost the taxpayers about $1 million, he's more than happy to hear it. So I vote yes, but looking forward to discussing it further.
Thank you. Excuse me. The next item of business, thank you, is the first reading and introduction of ordinance 2025-51, establishing summer camp fees and amending Chapter 30438. Council President Bernstein, are there any comments on ordinance 2025-51?
Yes, thank you. This ordinance, if adopted, would increase the fees for the township summer camp registration in order to reduce the amount required by the taxpayers to subsidize this program while still providing a cost less than charged by surrounding municipalities or other public entities. And I just want to add to that for a second. So I had a meeting a couple weeks ago, about a month ago, in the mayor's office with members of the summer camp program. This recommendation came from them, and now with some of our new members of our recreation department, we had conversations with most of the members of the governing body here, obviously separately. And I understand this is a difficult decision to make sometimes to raise the cost, but unfortunately sometimes it's a necessary decision. And I appreciate all the hard work, and I'm going to be reaching out to them with the clerk after the meeting, asking that a rep from the recreation department and the summer camps can come to the next council meeting also and give a little presentation to the public why they feel this is necessary before we vote the second time.
Are there any questions or comments by the Township Council?
No, Madam Clerk.
May I have a motion to approve ordinance 2025-51, a first reading and introduction to authorize the notice of the public hearing?
Motion?
Second.
Councilman Brawley?
Yes.
Councilman Pollock?
Yes.
Council Vice President Palmieri?
I'm still gathering some additional information, so at this time, I will be abstaining from this ordinance.
Council President Bernstein?
Yes.
Motion carries. The next item of business is the payment of authorization of bills and claims. I would like to note the following abstentions. Abstentions include from Councilman Borelli, AET01, EYE01, NJS04, NJS13, RUT09. Are there any questions or comments by the Township Council?
If I could just say one comment. The bills list gets lengthy at the end of the year. A lot of different departments put things in there at the end, just making sure the bills are paid before the end of the year. And I really want to take a moment and thank the clerk. I spent a lot of time. I try to do it early. It doesn't always happen before the council, too much before the council meeting. It's really fascinating to really go through what every expense is. So you have a better understanding of how municipal government works. So thank you, Madam Clerk, and I look forward to doing it every 2 weeks. Thank you.
May I have a motion to approve the bills and claims with the abstentions noted?
Motion.
Second.
Councilman Brawley?
With those exceptions, yes to the rest on the agenda for the bills and claims. Thanks.
Councilman Pollock?
Yes.
Council Vice President Palmieri?
Yes.
Council President Bernstein?
Yes.
Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is the consent agenda listed for tonight's consideration are resolutions 348 through 359, 2025, listed by title. Council President Bernstein, are there any comments on the consent agenda?
Yes. Firstly, does anyone from the public want any of these consent agenda resolutions taken so we could have a topic? And then we'll discuss it up here and then we'll put it back in. So, Mr. Martin, I see you raising your hand.
Yeah. So, 348, basically my question is, what does the municipal alliance coordinator do?
Sure. Thank you. Any other? Oh, any? Sure.
355, I didn't bring my Google glasses.
Sure.
It says qualified purchasing fee.
Sure.
Does that mean today we have an unqualified purchasing fee? And, yeah, that's about it.
Okay. Thank you. I see the resident back there. Just tell us which one you want us to discuss. We discuss it up here. Just. Sure. So comments will be at the end of the meeting, but now we'll just just have that open conversation here. So, Madam Clerk, so I'm just going to address it, and then we put. How does it work? We put it back.
There's a
There's a gentleman in the back. Yes. 352. Perfect. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Madam Clerk, so I'm just going to, I guess, address some of those resolutions, and then we can, I guess, put them back in and then vote accordingly, right? Is that the way it works? Mr. McGuckin, is that the way it works?
You would take a separate vote on,
Oh,
yes, that would be a separate vote on the ones requested.
okay. So should we first vote on the,
Balance the consent agenda?
yes. So we're going to vote on the balance of the consent agenda first.
Sure. May I have
Unless any of my colleagues have any comments, which I have a comment on 354, which I just want to mention quickly. 354, unfortunately, sometimes when you sit up here, we have to make some very tough decisions that aren't always easy decisions to make. So we all know that there is in New Jersey, there's COA and there's a state affordable housing. So right now, the state in their lame duck session, the Democrats are pushing through a bill that if it passes, and I've spoken to in the past 2 weeks, a couple of our Republican assemblymen and a couple of the Democrat assemblymen just to gauge where this is going. And they're unfortunately pretty confident right now this may go through. This would allow a developer, as long as they're a registered nonprofit organization, to build 40 units per acre as part of an affordable housing plan with a 20% set aside, which basically means apartment buildings as part of their affordable housing plan. I don't think anyone in Jackson likes the concept of or very few people, I'm sorry. I saw certain people in the back. Very few people like the concept of having to build affordable housing. But one thing I think we could agree on is if we have to build it, we want to build it smart. We want to build it in a way that we can control. 40 units per acre is not smart development. So this is a resolution calling on the state to rethink what they're doing. Remember that Jackson is not Newark and not Trenton, and hopefully they will, if they do decide to proceed with it, leave our suburban towns out of that, whatever you want to call 40 acres per unit. So that's that. That's what I wanted to discuss. I also wanted to bring up R59 2025, which is authorizing to put out a bid for our recycling. We trying to gather some information currently if residents are happy with the recycling services or not. We obviously, when you put any question out, you get mixed reviews. But it was something that we technically have a 4th and 5th year to our current contract, and we just felt if we put it out, we maybe have a possibility of maybe getting a little bit of a lower rate. And I will tell you that the vendor that we currently use did reach out and ask if we're willing to negotiate our rate a little bit, so maybe we can get a little bit more for the taxpayers. So that's that. Council Vice President?
I want to just also reiterate on Resolution 354, 2025. Let's be clear, this is a disaster. This Senate Bill 4736 is an absolute disaster. This would allow for high-density apartments in Jackson, 40 units per acre. So I'm happy that my colleagues here, Council President, we're opposing this, completely opposing this, and this resolution will go to every legislator that we oppose this, and it will be forwarded to everybody in the state legislature. We need to be very loud about this. We cannot have this pass. We will look like Manhattan. So thank you for putting this forward, Council President. I can concur with you 100%. This is clearly a 100% disaster.
Any other council members? Mr. Borelli?
I get to comment on all of them right now?
Sure.
Okay. Well, I'm going to echo your sentiment on 354, 2025. Strongly oppose this bill. And I think we're all sick and tired of the state forcing more and more development on our towns. We want more local power to decide our town's needs and wants, not some suit in Trenton who's never even been here. And Resolution 352, 2025, I did have some concerns about this. I spoke with Council President. I spoke with our engineer. It seems like we're making up some of the mistakes of the past. but I think we're doing it in a good way because we're essentially doing a land swap with Green Acres because they decided to build on land they shouldn't have built. And I'm good with this because we are going to do that land swap with Green Acres, but they're going to be preserving the land. So that should be one of the utmost priorities, and the council is doing everything they can to fix the problems.
So, anything, anything else? So I just wanted to.
I do have more.
Oh,
All
okay.
right. Now, Resolution 355, 2025, about the new purchasing agent. I'm not really sure what happened with the last purchasing agent. I do have a concern that a lot of people are either leaving or being removed from their positions. I'm not sure what's going on within the town. I'd love to find out eventually. And then on 357, 2025, we're approving a purchasing agent to bypass the council with purchases under 53,000. I'm not against efficiency or streamlining processes, but when a lot of people are getting shifted around, people are getting taken out or new people are coming in, I'm a little weary of giving them kind of free rein. I'm not a big fan of government and not a big truster in government. So you'll hear a lot of that from me through all this. And I think the rest, I'm good.
So I'm just going to elaborate on a couple questions that I think residents had, and then the process is we vote on the consent, and then we vote on the separate ones. With regard to R52 2025, so Councilman Pollock was correct. We had a conversation, myself and Mr. Cunliffe, with Mr. Pollock today, and this has been an ongoing issue that the mayor really discovered. It really came to our attention about 6 months ago when we applied for a Green Acres grant, which would have enabled us to get about $850,000. I think it was a Jake's Law grant, which is a state grant that many municipalities get. Toms River got it last year. Many of our surrounding towns have gotten it. And we were all excited. We found it. We applied for it. And then we were denied without really much of a reason. So when we went back to some of our professionals, they brought up this issue that unfortunately, which I know was addressed publicly with a presentation in August, where the township made some mistakes about 15, 20 years ago. And because of that, we are frozen out of getting any Green Acres state grants at currently. Unfortunately, we have to fix this. But like Mr. Pollock said, the advantage is whatever we end up giving to the state is going to be preserved forever by DEP and will be preserved property. So while we may have to give property to the state, at least it will be preserved and it won't be a state house. It won't be anything else built on it, which I think is an advantage to the state and to the town. I know the mayor is working tirelessly with our engineering department on this project. I know there's going to be, this is just authorizing the next step of it. And hopefully, I did ask our engineers, because we get a lot of questions about this process, if they could write up a little bit of a summary in layman's term that we could hopefully post on the agenda, on the website. The process that we've gone through and what the next steps are, and really explaining in layman's term exactly what this is going to include. So hopefully we will have that within the next couple of days so we can post that. And anyone has any questions, feel free. And then with regard to qualified purchasing agent, I'm not going to discuss personnel publicly, but I look forward, Mr. Councilman Pollock, to maybe discussing that, behind closed doors so we can have a little bit more information. But we are in the need of a qualified purchasing agent, and I really just thank you to the mayor and to all the other staff here for finding someone who's actually going to be currently stepping in at a much cheaper rate. I think it's about $1,400 a month, which is a lot cheaper than having to pay healthcare benefits or anything else to anyone. So that's hopefully a savings for the municipality. With regard to the I think the number is 53,000. My understanding is that is the state number. And Madam Clerk, could you elaborate on that for a second, if possible?
Yes, that is the bid threshold.
That is, so it's a state mandated threshold?
That's the state threshold.
Do we know why the state raised the threshold? Because I think it's a valid, like, you obviously want checks and balances.
Attorney McGuckin, would you like to take that?
Under the statute, the state can raise that threshold annually based upon inflation and everything else.
Gary, you want?
Sorry about that. By statute, the department can authorize the increase in the QPA limits for purchases based on inflation. It's gone from, it used to be $12,000 a year. It's been increased over the years. The last one was up to, I believe, $47,000. They've now raised the limit again. As a result of inflation and cost, the state has authorized that to be permitted, but only if you have a qualified purchasing agent. If you don't have one, the limit is like $11,000.
Just to address Mr. Martin's comments about the qualified purchasing agent, is there something as a non-qualified purchasing agent that we're allowed to hire?
Qualified purchasing agent, a qualified purchasing agent means they have passed the state test and they've been licensed by the state to serve in the capacity as a purchasing agent. So if you do not have a qualified purchasing agent, you are not subject to the $50-some thousand limit. You're limited to $11,000 or $12,000. I can't recall the exact number. Almost every town, certainly any town of any major size, has a QPA, and it's usually an expensive proposition to obtain one. And this process here allows us to essentially contract with a company to do it, as opposed to an employee requiring benefits and so forth and so on.
Thank you. So we're going to have public comment at the end. That's just the process currently. Anyone else on council have any questions?
Council President
Yes.
Bernstein,
Thank you.
I know we've made comments, some of you made comments already regarding R352-2025. I also had questions, and I appreciate the township engineer reached back out to us to inform us. This is pre-application to the state of New Jersey. This is the next step in the Green Acres major diversion process to legalize the Jackson compost facility to remain at Jackson Mills Vista Center site, and also to maintain the gravel driveway retaining walls which serve Crawford Rodriguez Elementary School as well. It's just to legalize both of them. Then with the land swap and all that, with the land there, that's going to be preserved and protected, and also prevent private development from occurring as well. So I just wanted to mention that regarding that. And then I concur with all of you on R354-2025 opposing the Senate bill S4736. We want to try to maintain the suburban character of our town as best as possible, and this would just create a nightmare in towns like ours, like Jackson, and other towns as well.
And I just want to add one thing, that I think the ratio that to fix this problem would be about a 10-to-1 ratio that we have to give back to the state. I think right now one of the properties that's being examined would be, I think if I remember correctly, they said it's in the Pinelands, about 500 acres. It depends on, obviously, in the Pinelands properties, sometimes it's a little bit less expensive, so you have to get more acreage in order to hit that number. But I'm sure our engineers will continue to update us as the process goes forward. Madam Clerk?
Thank you. So may I have a motion to authorize the consent agenda, the balance of the consent agenda, with the exception of 352, 354, 355, and 357, which will be voted on individually. Correct, Attorney McGuckin?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Motion?
Second.
Councilman Brawley?
Yes.
Councilman Pollock?
Yes.
Council Vice President Palmieri?
Yes.
Council President Bernstein?
Yes, and I want to thank a resident, I'm not going to mention his name, who actually brought this to the attention about 6 months ago about this process, because it was great to have an open conversation about some of the things that we usually, in the past, didn't happen. So thank you to that anonymous resident. Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. May I have a motion to authorize Resolution 352, 2025, supporting the Senate House Commission pre-application to the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection for the Jackson Mills Compost Facility and Camp Joy Major Diverse of Green Acres Encumbered Local Park Land.
Motion?
Second.
Councilman Brawley?
Yes.
Councilman Pollock?
Yes.
Council Vice President Palmieri?
Yes.
Council President Bernstein?
Yes.
Motion carries. May I have a motion to authorize Resolution 354, 2025, opposing the Senate Bill S4736?
Motion.
Second?
Councilman Brawley?
Yes.
Councilman Pollock?
Yes.
Council Vice President Palmieri?
Yes.
Council President Bernstein?
Yes, and everyone, all residents in Jackson, please email all your legislators, because it's the only way we even have a fighting chance. So yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. May I have a motion to authorize Resolution 355, 2025, appointing a qualified purchasing agent?
Motion?
Second.
Councilman Brelli,
Yes.
Councilman Pollock,
Abstain.
Council Vice President Palmieri,
Yes.
Council President Bernstein.
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay. May I have a motion to authorize Resolution 357, 2025, granting authority of approval of certain purchases through New Jersey state contracts and/or purchasing cooperative for 2025?
Motion.
Second.
Councilman Brelli,
Yes.
Councilman Pollock,
No.
Council Vice President Palmieri,
Yes.
Council President Bernstein.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. At this time, if any member of the public has any comments to make, please address the council at the microphone and state your name and address clearly for the record. You have 5 minutes and may only speak once. May I have a motion to open public comment?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Come on up. Before, Madam Clerk, I just want to just reiterate the way I've been doing it for the past couple meetings. Anyone asks questions, I don't want to take away from your 5 minutes. I'll be writing them down, and then hopefully we'll be able to answer them when you're done. So
Okay.
go for it.
Okay, my name is Michelle Ricin. I am a Jackson resident and a taxpayer. I first want to address Resolution 355, appointing a QPA. We're appointing a consulting group, the Canning Group, and we're appointing Sean P. Canning as the QPA. I did not see anywhere on the League of Municipalities that this position was posted. Also, we are a civil service town. Was this posted within the township? Also, on the township website, it states Nydia Dalmichi is the qualified purchasing agent. You cannot have 2 qualified purchasing agents appointed for a town. There also needs to be an individual resolution appointing that QPA. That's one. The second resolution I have a problem with is Resolution 356. The Buy Board National Purchasing Cooperative, that is a national co-op. The township must be a member of this national co-op. I don't see anywhere in this resolution, the resolution where it states the township join this co-op. And there's requirements when a national co-op is being utilized. You have to do a cost comparison and you have to show the savings, because we really should be utilizing a local or a state contract, in which there is a state contract with many local vendors that provide this type of equipment. My next resolution is 357. In this, it's saying about the bid threshold up to $35,000. There is a window contract between $17,500 and $53,000, the QPA threshold. The named QPA is not mentioned in this resolution, which they should be. Also, I disagree with the attorney. Every 5 years, the state increases the bid threshold. It's not, $1,200 or $12,000 as how he said. And there must be a resolution stating that the township is going to increase that bid threshold for all purchases. And again, that named QPA must be in that resolution. My next resolution is 358. It mentions that Sean Canning is suggesting that they utilize an e-bidding platform to receive bids. There's certain requirements that the state put out in an LFN. I apologize, I don't have that LFN number, that the town must look at these e-bidding platforms. You must do it properly, and you must name that e-bidding platform by resolution. You have to get quotes and so forth. So that's it with resolutions. Do I also talk about a bill list that I'm
You can
not
talk-
happy with?
Sure, you can talk about whatever you
Okay,
want.
good.
It's your time.
Perfect. I'm looking at a bill list for PO 2501546. It's it was for the clerk's office.
I'm sorry if you could just say that again.
Oh, okay. Purchase order 2501546. It was utilizing the clerk's office materials and supply budget account. And it's actually the office supply account. 036 is office supplies. I see an office refrigerator. We are taxpayers. We do not pay for individual refrigerators, microwaves for departments. If departments want a coffee machine,
If they want a refrigerator, if they want a microwave, they pay for it. The town is required to provide a local, help me out here. Lunchroom, thank you. And there is a lunchroom. I believe there's a microwave. I believe there's a refrigerator. I'm a taxpayer. I'm not paying for everybody's individual refrigerators, coffees. And if people are buying Keurig coffee cups, no, I'm not paying for that. Okay? And if you had a qualified purchasing agent sitting in an office, they would be reviewing these purchases and it would be denied. So appointing a consultant is wrong. Okay? So I'm just saying you need to advertise it. You need to get someone in here that is qualified.
Okay, so I just want to address some of the, oh, you still, sure. One more thing.
No, I did say it.
Okay. So I just want to address some of her questions, and some of them I'm going to defer to the attorney because I don't know if I know the answer. With regard to the buy board, the township actually passed a resolution, I think it was a month ago, being included in the buy board co-op. It was a resolution, I'm almost positive 2 meetings ago. It might have been last meeting, but I have to pull that up. With regard to the QPA and with the bidding counsel, legal counsel, if you could address that.
A QPA has to be licensed and certified, and my understanding is Mr. Canning has that certification. I didn't understand the rest of that question.
Okay, and then with regard to just the refrigerator, so when I first came into office about 2 years ago, the first time I ever went through any of these orders, I saw a lot of water in one of our departments. And I said, why are we supplying water? And what I learned, and we don't all have to agree with this, but I learned is it's important to try to make employees happy. And which is something that I think everyone in this council and administration, we want happy employees. And sometimes there's certain, I'm not going to call them benefits, but certain work environment things that you do, whether it's once in a while by a staff meeting, they have lunch. And other things that do go on. And I think there are many departments in our building here that do have refrigerators, and I personally don't have a problem, but I understand your perspective.
Yeah, I have a problem.
Yeah.
And also, they used to supply water here years ago, and it was removed because taxpayers shouldn't pay for bottled water for employees. If they want bottled water, they could bring it in. Also, you can install, just like at the gyms, you have those instant water that you provide, and that's open to the public. So it's public use. It's not just for employees. So I suggest you install those type of fountains and get rid of the bottled water if we're paying for bottled water. I also forgot one more thing.
Ma'am, I'm going to give you another 30 seconds, okay?
Okay. November 13th, council meeting, Mayor Jennifer Kuhn put on record some things to look in town hall. One being doors being replaced, which be funded by opioid grants. I reviewed the opioid grants recommended usage, and it is not for doors. It is for individuals with opioid problems. It's for housing them. It's for prescriptions. It's for rehab, things like that. So before grant money is being used, I suggest that the QPA, the CFO, look at the approved usage before these items are processed, because you're violating. Thank you.
Thank you. So Attorney McGuckin, if you could.
I would have to review the exact item in question, but there are requirements as to what the opioid funds can be used for, and I'll be glad to review it if necessary.
Thank you. And if there's a problem, if you could let us know. Thank you. Mr. Brandon?
Could you please explain the one-way thing with South Boston again? Is it only going to be going from Bennett's Mills back into Tilford?
Correct. The way the ordinance was written was it could only come from Bennett's Mill towards Tilford, westbound. I'm sorry, that's eastbound, I think. But yeah, you can only come from Bennett's Mill. There would be no more making a left turn from South Boston onto Bennett's Mill, which we know there's been multiple accidents over there. If this goes for a second reading.
There's no possibility of expanding and widening the road.
So-
Eminent domain or anything?
So let me see if I can pull it up for a second. That's a great question. Better yet, let me give you your 5 minutes, ask your questions, and then I don't mind answering.
My basic point is, between Westlake and Winding Ways alone, you're affecting 2,000 people that come this direction to pay their taxes. And I'm sure most of them use that Beam Avenue to South Boston just to come down here to pay taxes.
So what I would say is based on the development of South Boston Road, I think the residents on South Boston Road would not be happy to hear that the 2,000 cars are using South Boston Road as a cut through, which is part of the reason why we're here. I'm going to read, Ms. Bennett, any other questions, or is that it?
That's basically it.
Yeah, so I'm going to read about, let's see if I can pull it up here. If not, here, about. Here. Widening the roadway, installing sidewalks on one side of the roadway for South Boston roadway. Disregarding the safety concerns raised by this office, and this is from our engineering department, and the police department traffic safety unit, we evaluated feasibility of making South Boston Road a two-way roadway. The following work would be required. The roadway would need to be widened to a minimum paved width of 20 feet. We also recommend installing sidewalks along the route to clearly separate pedestrian and vehicle traffic. South Boston Road appears to have clearly been a dirt road that was later paved without a formal engineering drainage system. Currently, runoff drains to low areas in front of yards along the route. Adding curb and sidewalks would act as a barrier and cause ponding and flooding in the roadway unless drainage is provided. Stormwater recharge infrastructure would therefore be required to address this at an estimated cost of approximately $285,000. Approximately 30 significant mature trees would need to be removed to install curb and sidewalk. We estimate tree removal costs at about $75,000. This impact is unavoidable as there are large trees on both sides of the roadway. We estimate the total construction cost to be the range of $620,000 to $685,000. We estimate the cost for professional services, including survey, design, permitting, and construction administration and inspection, to be in the range of $80,000 to $110,000. So the final number that it would possibly cost to be close to $1 million.
Okay.
Can I comment?
Mr. Pollack?
Making these decisions is extremely difficult, and no matter what you do, somebody's going to be upset. We understand that, and I'm glad I had a conversation about this earlier a little bit too. I would love to hear from more residents, and I appreciate the public comments. I think these meetings are running much smoother with our new council president. I think that people are being respected more, and I'd like to continue that. And on things like this, I want people to get involved, speak up, because we need to hear from you. There's things we don't necessarily know. You know, I went down that block for the first time today because I need to understand these things. But we're not going to always fully understand this. We need to hear from you, the residents, because I personally want this to be a participatory type of government where you really have a voice. And thank you for all the help.
And I just want to add one more thing on that note. So we definitely want to hear from everyone. The next council meeting is approximately a month away after the holiday season, or middle of the holiday season, but not till the middle of December. Council, we almost done a council chambers where I know, Mr. Pollack, we haven't yet advertised your hours, but each of the council members has hours that they're available. And we're looking forward to residents coming down. We also talked about possibly instituting quarterly a question and answer session at the end of a council meeting. So less formal session for maybe an hour, hour and a half. So we definitely want to hear, and I think we're happy to see more residents there. Go for it.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Alex Marco from Brentwood Drive. Tonight's more of a PSA, so I'm here tonight representing Knights of Columbus out of St. Monica, Council 11529. We are running our annual St. Jude's fundraiser, Christmas tree, wreath, and grave blanket sale over on 138 North County Line Road, about Premier Design. So all proceeds will go to St. Jude's. We celebrate life as Christians, but also this is a season for thanks for our fathers, mothers, brothers, and sisters who have passed. So if you're not Christian, we still do sell grave blankets as well. So please come by. And we do have some Santa Claus and other stuff for the kids on the weekends. So see you on Black Friday.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I would ask you, I forgot your name, but if you could email me whatever, if there's anything, do you have a flyer or anything, and I will send it over to administration. And
I emailed you on the town community calendar thing that we were talking about.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
My name is Fred Morrow. I live on Beam Avenue. And congratulations, Mr. Pollack, and I have to apologize for what you're about to hear. But I think this has been a big joke tonight about you wanting to listen to us because when this whole project with South Boston Road came up, we voiced our concerns, our opinions, our fears. And we were totally ignored in that vote. This is something, now all of a sudden you're talking about a one-way street that was already designed. It's already been constructed. And you're going to tell me the vote's not going to go through? How much faith do I have in this government? My fears are for my kids, my grandkids, and for my property as well. I live right at that target that you're proposing to plant. Thank you very much for listening.
Adam Heidi, I live in Jackson, New Jersey. And I just want to make a comment before I speak. I was appointed to our township's environmental commission. I'm not speaking in a formal capacity. I'm just speaking as a concerned resident. I went to kindergarten at Jackson Memorial. I went to Jackson Liberty. I graduated, went to college. I was born and raised, so I'm just speaking as a concerned resident, okay, just for the record. My particular concern is on 352, 2025. I just have some questions on the Camp Joy stuff.
One second, Adam, if you could stop 1 second. You said 352?
Yes, it's about the land swap around Camp Joy. I just want some clarification. Do we already own the acreage being swapped?
If I could just stop for a second. It's not
Can
a,
you stop the clock, please?
yeah, if you don't mind stopping the clock for 1 second. It's not a land swap. It's right now we're not up to the, Camp Joy is going to stay Camp Joy. No one's, there's no one up here there's no intention whatsoever to touch Camp Joy. And there's no, it's not,
It says that we're going to unpreserve 8 acres of land. Isn't that correct?
I'll let you continue. What?
No, the resolution, it says we're going to unpreserve 8 acres of land.
Unencumber.
I'm sorry?
We're going to unencumber.
Could you elaborate?
Sure. Mr. McGuckin, I just want to make sure I use the
And-
proper terminology, but I'll let you ask your question first and I'll answer you.
Yeah, I just, because then how are we replacing the land that we're unpreserving? Can you agree that it's the law we have to replace the land of equal or greater value if we unpreserve green acres?
Yeah.
That's the law, right? I'm asking a question. What funds are we going to use to replace the land that we are going to be unpreserving?
So if I understand correctly, and Mr. McGuckin correct me, is that in order to be able to continue utilizing our green acre funding, which right now is frozen because the town went ahead and put on a green acres property things that didn't belong on green acres property.
Which the resolution arguably admits it was unauthorized use of the
correct.
land. Correct. So we admitted to the
Mistakes,
unauthorized.
yes.
Okay. And
Now we have to go ahead and give to the state 10 times the value of the property that we stole. I'll use that term, correct.
We have to, right?
Yeah.
And which funds are we going to use to do that? I understand you guys want to make the compost facility operational. I don't agree with that. I think Green Acres exists for the epitome of Green Acres is land preservation. I think it's a win for the town and a loss for the residents as we now lose the preserved space. So when you guys are going to replace that space, what funds will you use to replace that space?
So I'm gonna let Mr. Pollack, do you mind answering? I think you asked that question.
Because
to the
we're
engineer.
just for the record, we will be using funds from the township to remediate a township oversight error, right?
Correct.
We weren't supposed to develop or do anything
Correct.
there. So now we need to,
Mr. Pollack?
So
right?
I was asking a lot of these same questions earlier. I spoke to the engineer, and
Can you stop the clock, please?
from my understanding is that we are using township land. We're not using money. We're not going to be spending a bunch of tax dollars on this.
So you're saying that we own the land already that's going to be taking part in the exchange. We're not purchasing any land for the exchange.
That is what I understand from
Correct.
speaking
But
to the
what
engineer.
land is going to replace the 8 to 9 acres? Would you mind bringing the resolution up? It might clarify for all of
Sure.
us. I'm trying to be
Sure, if you could restart the
respectful.
clock and
Could you
pull up
please-
the resolution.
Could you please stop the clock and ask the IT person to go to 352-2025, please? Respectfully. because I want to make sure that I'm reading it correctly also.
I don't have it here. I don't have it here. Yeah, there was in August. I don't have the documentation here.
It sounds like we just lose 9 acres of preserved space, and then we have to use our tax money to replace that, just so we can make sure this compost facility stays.
So Adam,
active.
I hear your question. I
It's a
don't think you're right,
concern.
but I have to get back to you on that.
It's a concern. It's not a
Yeah,
question.
sure.
Well, from my understanding, they do have particular land they are looking at. Offhand, I don't know. I'd have to go through.
It's not in the resolution, respectfully. The resolution, I could bring it up, actually. You know what? Just to save everybody time. In the now therefore be it resolved section, number 3 states, the Township of Jackson acknowledges that in order to obtain the approval of Jackson Mills compost facility and a portion of Camp Joy facility major diversion, all substantive and procedural requirements under the law must be met, including compensation requirements. So we legally have to compensate this unpreservation of the 9 acres. And I just want to make sure that we're not going to use our open space funds to pay back our mistakes. Because again, this is a township oversight error. This has nothing to do with the residents. We should not be using our taxpayers pay into open space funds every year, so we can have parks and refuges. I want to make sure that we're not abusing that budget. An even bigger concern is, I can ask you a question. What is stopping Jackson from putting this ordinance into effect right now? Are there any outside agencies that are stopping us from just doing this? I think there's 2 agencies that we need to apply for to get this into effect, right?
I'm sorry, you put what into effect?
I think we need to reach out to the state assembly, right? We need an approval. There's 2 approvals that we're seeking, right?
Right.
I guess what I'm saying is, what kind of precedent do we set as a council that green lights a resolution when the state hasn't really gave us permission to do what we want to do?
I understand.
It's kind of respectfully, just because I don't have a lot of time, I'm not trying to be rude, Mr. McGuckin. It's kind of the issues we see with the development, right? Like, a lot of permits aren't being vetted out, and site plans are going through without proper vetting. So I guess if this whole thing depends on an approval from the state assembly, and who's the other agency that we need to apply to?
The State House Commission?
The who?
State House Commission?
Yes, thank you. I guess if they haven't gave us the approval, why would we even vote on an ordinance pertaining to it? What if they both say no? Then this ordinance is just, I get dead in the water, but what kind of precedent do we set? It's kind
So
of
we're
like
not-
build now, check for compliance later, right?
I'll answer your question, but I don't want to interrupt you. So you tell me when you're done.
I unfortunately have more concerns than the 11 seconds that I have, but I think that, I think you guys get the gist of my concerns.
So this is not an ordinance. We're not doing anything other than making the application. And actually, what the resolution authorizes is a pre-application submission to the department for them to review our request. They will never approve it unless we meet the requirements of the State House Commission, which is a 10-for-1 replacement. And the township intends to use land it already owns and will encumber those lands against development for future purposes forever. And those lands are the ones, well, yeah,
Forever,
right
right?
word.
The green acres
Until you
were
make another
forever, right?
application.
It's
So what we're doing is making the application, and that's all this authorizes. The State House Commission would have to grant the approval. They will not grant the approval until we identify all the parcels that'll be deed restricted against future development. That's what
and
it is.
is there anything you can do to like kind of like, how can you ensure the deed restriction will be taken into effect?
It-
Would you say that the green acres was supposed to be preserved forever?
That's for Green Acres to decide. There's a process where if you are going to take something that was previously preserved and use it, then you have to pay 10-to-1 for what you're taking. And that process could happen again in 50 years.
Understood.
Certainly could happen.
Understood. It's a terrible consequence we have to face, especially as residents, right? So we want to make sure, however we're going to compensate for that, if we do go through with it, please don't use the open space fund. Please don't use the open space fund. Please don't use the open space fund. Please do not use the open space fund.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you,
Adam, I was asking very much a lot of these same questions. What I understand is we're not allowed to use the open space fund for that. So, I'm asking the same question.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Tom Giattino, Cobain Road, Jackson. Mayor King, congratulations on your appointment. Mr. Bernstein, congratulations on your appointment. Mr. Pollack, also congratulations on your appointment. So I'll be brief. Council President, you say coming to a compromise in the neighborhood on the Mike Calderese podcast recently, now that Chris was elected. How is that even a conversation when you had a giant warehouse built right on West Commodore Road recently, among other projects, literally across the street from residential homes? What does that do to their value? There wasn't compromise there. How about the usage at 21 Alana Drive, where the roof was taken off the house and the house was extended with all sorts of windows, where it now looks like maybe at least a 12 to 15 bedroom parcel on the end of Alana Drive. Okay. These are just two examples alone that don't lend anything to the Play Nice interview with Mr. Calderese regarding being inclusive. Then there's 390 Cobain Road, which is still getting reviews on Google as a commercial petting farm and is still a synagogue on Friday and Saturday and a for sale farm selling his animals. Recently, Jackson PD ticketed 390 Cobain Road for excessive dog noise after 10 p.m. As we all know, the ordinance exists. And JPD found 390 to have 13 dogs and not 5 as township code. 8 dogs were removed. Suddenly, the owner, who is an LLC, stated that the dogs had babies. Is he running a kennel, or is he a breeder? Because that's another issue. Okay, Mr. Jeff Papuro, who some of us will probably know, is in charge of the zoning department, served 390 Cobain in the past with summonses after it was brought to his attention that in an R3 residential neighborhood, as Ms. Kuhn will attest, she knows, okay? He had 3 64-seat school buses pull into his circular driveway like they were being dropped off for school. I didn't know I had a school across the street from me. Okay. Meanwhile, they were there for a field trip to his petting farm. Okay. Upon seeing this, I immediately went over to Mr. Papuro, which is approximately 6 minutes from my home, his office. And he declined to come out in real time to see what was going on. He would have saw himself firsthand that these school buses with 64 children that I have video of were on a residential property arbitrarily and he charges them for this, by the way, okay? Anyway, so Mr. Papuro dropped the summons that he had originally committed to on the premise that they were shut down, okay? But as Ms. Kuhn and I have had conversations about, this continues to go on. She actually, in real time while we were on the phone, looked it up herself and saw for herself and said, what is going on here, okay? So with that being said, I constantly get assured that it's shut down, it's not happening. Just last week, there was another review posted on Google, okay? I tried having a friendly conversation with the LLC owner, okay? Of course, it's deny, 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 push the food around the dish. And to be honest, I'm getting tired of it, okay? I've lived here 25 years, peace and quiet. I can't even open my windows at night anymore, okay? I have a family, I have a daughter that works at community medical. She's got to be there 5:30 in the morning. You're all parents. How would you feel about that? If your child had to be somewhere at 5:30, up at 4:45, and at 1:30 in the morning, you got dogs barking because he's protecting his animals, okay? That's not my problem. When you moved in a few years ago, you knew the lay of the land. This is an R3 residential property, okay? But you're trying to do this and say, get out of my way. I don't care about you, okay? Unfortunately for him, it doesn't bother me one bit. I stand here all day and talk about this, okay? Anyway, So you people are all off on the weekends, and that's when this individual is running his business full bore. Okay? I have countless videos in my phone of this guy having an in and out. He has a circular driveway, double entry. They're in, they come out. It's almost like clockwork. Okay? And he charges them. He used to have a sign that said $11 a head. I went to Propero and had it taken down because what are we doing here? I'd love to have you come over for coffee, like I've had conversations with Ms. Keene, and say, hey, you know what? Let me charge you $10 for the Starbucks with the whipped cream. Okay? You understand the point of what I'm saying.
Sure.
And finally,
I'll give you another 20 seconds.
okay, and finally, I know the Township Council put out a memo that on January 1st, 2026, they are going to be seriously cracking down on the illegal rentals in Jackson. What are you doing to hit the ground running on this issue, which goes into effect in 36 days? And it also it's a large part of the deterioration in this town regarding safety and quality of life. You can start with 1 Alana Drive, 2 Alana Drive, 15 Alana Drive, 451 Cobain Road. Every single one of those is listed as a primary resident home.
Sure.
Nobody lives there that owns those properties.
Sure. Thank you. So I just want to address, so I'm just going to address your comments and concerns in backwards to forwards for a second. The one thing I can definitely tell you that everyone on this dais, no matter what, is united on is our illegal rental issue. So with regard to what are we going to do? So just to elaborate on that ordinance. So the mayor's office, together with, I think, our clerk's office today, was preparing the RFP, sorry, not the RFP, for the legal municipalities to advertise for the rental inspectors, with the goal being that by January 1st, those inspectors will be hired, to be trained, to be starting to work at the end of January, beginning of February. Unfortunately, that process takes time, and we had to follow the various ordinances, and it took about 6 to 8 months to get that entire process ready to roll. Currently, we have a fully staffed code enforcement, and I understand the frustrations. I think if I remember correctly, I was on a couple of those emails from with regard to that petting zoo. If someone's illegally using their property, it needs to be reported and needs to be continuously reported. I'm going to ask our attorney, because in this form of government, council does not give instructions to our, and I don't think the mayor does either, to our department heads on what to enforce and what not to enforce. But I'm going to ask our attorney if he can possibly, through the mayor's office, follow up with Mr. Proporo tomorrow, because what the resident is describing should not be going on in a residential home unless they went in front of the board and seek the use variance, which it doesn't sound like they ever did. With regard to, you mentioned a couple of other addresses. I would ask you again to please report it. CC the mayor, CC any of the council members, and I can guarantee you that all these council members will make sure it ends up at the right department. We're not in enforcement. We're in the legislative body over here. Enforcement falls under the mayor, and it's her job to ensure that our departments are enforcing our ordinances. And I am very confident that hopefully this new department, working together with our code enforcement department, hopefully we will start seeing some results. I know no one wants to wait 2 months, and I'm hoping people understand that we are going to be taking this seriously. With regard to what are we going to be hiring, I think everyone on this dais, including the mayor, including all the council members, want to see people who are actually going to focus day and night on the rental issue and crack down on it. I'm just so yes. So yes, and I just want to speak because it's a recorded meeting. I will follow up with the mayor tomorrow and with our code department and our zoning officer to find out where that investigation is holding, because that shouldn't be going on. And we will make sure that the chief of police is included in that conversation also. With regard to, you mentioned other applications, I don't think it would be, Mr. McGuckin, there was an application which he's referring to in front of the zoning board this week for a warehouse, which I think got preliminary approvals, did not get final approvals. Being that council appoints the zoning board, I don't know if it would be appropriate for me to respond.
If there's an application pending before the board, you really can't comment on it.
Okay.
If there's an application pending before the zoning board, the council would not be permitted to comment upon that. It's pending before the zoning board, and they appoint the zoning board.
Okay, thank you. Carlos?
Sorry if I
Councilman?
respond. I think you air a lot of the frustration that a lot of people who live here feel. Illegal uses of residential homes, the boarding houses, these are all huge problems. This is things I've been talking about, the council's been talking about, and of course the residents have been talking about. And we need to work together with code enforcement. We need the participation of the people as well to report these things. I was stopped by code enforcement this morning and had a meeting with them because what needs to happen in this government is we need cooperation. We need to work together. I just went in there and sat down and said, hey guys, what are the problems? What are the issues you're facing? Because their job isn't always easy. And people need to understand that. It's not just like I report something and boom, it happens. I wish it worked like that. We all did. But they're working hard. I was happy to sit down and talk with them. And I'm hoping to find some solutions with them. We have to work together. We have to communicate. You can't sit up here and blast a department for months and months and months and then expect them to do a great job. You have to go in there and actually speak with them and say, hey, how can we work together? How can we fix the problems? This is what's been missing from this government. And I know some of us are trying. But what I've seen in the past, why do you think I'm here? I got pissed off and I ran and I won. And now that I'm here, I'm hoping to work together with everybody to make a true positive difference. And thank you for raising those concerns. Please, let's get those addresses to code enforcement. Let's get these things happening. Council President has been getting code enforcement to work some evenings now. We've actually been speaking about the possibility of the weekends. So, you know, we're trying, we're talking, we're working together. It's going to take some time, but we're working on it.
Council
I
Vice President,
appreciate
I think Council Vice President.
Yeah, and just to reiterate with Councilman Pollack said, you know, report these to the departments, but also copy one of us, just so we have some, you know, some eyesight on this. Because if you don't get responses, then one of us could just reply, hey, you know, can we get a response? Copy the mayor. The mayor, you know, is very responsive and will reply right away. So just we're all working together. It doesn't happen overnight. We're laying the groundwork with the Bureau of Housing, so that's going to be helpful. We're going to get that going, but it's not going to be perfect because this issue didn't happen yesterday. It's been growing for many years, probably more years than any of us have been on this dais. So we need to now peel that onion back layer by layer, and as we find more issues, we'll have to amend ordinances. We'll have to create new ones. We'll have to, like we're doing, create a new department, but we're going to work together. But again, the feedback from you, emailing the respective departments and your legislative body and the mayor will help us to have eyesight on it. So thank you.
And I just want to echo that is that in this form of government, we will follow up with the mayor so she can have that conversation with Mr. Papur to have a better understanding, get that information to us. If there was an investigation, a summons issued, what changed? And then, you know, we can figure out where that gray area and where that loopholes are so we can hopefully, because we're all on the same page.
Council President, really,
Yes.
question regarding the Bureau of Housing.
Sure.
Are those I think it might have been asked before, and, you know, if it is civil service, the process can take a pretty long while. Are those positions civil service?
Mr. Attorney
that
McGuckin,
we,
I know you were asked this by a previous.
My understanding is that they likely are, and I believe Ms. Cipriani was reviewing that.
Okay, so it might take a little bit longer going through the process with the state regarding
Correct, but
hiring
we're
people in the
starting
Bureau.
it so we can move it forward. Thank you. Carlos?
All right. Okay. One is, Carlos Martins.
You don't have to swear.
I am a member of the zoning board of adjustments, but I'm here as a resident. I'd actually like to give my full address if I could.
Go for it.
Okay. So I live on 406 Cobain Road. And if you heard any of the testimony, there are a lot of my neighbors here today complaining. Even though I'm on the zoning board, I believe because, and you correct me if I'm wrong, because my neighbors and potential are so close to me, I'll have to recuse myself anyway, right? So I think I could comment, or can't I not? I don't want to be thrown in Gator Alcatraz, so you tell me what I can do and can't do.
So if you believe you're going to have a conflict before the zoning board on the application,
Yeah.
I mean, you're free to say whatever you want, but you could be putting yourself in a problem if that board denies the application based upon comments you make to this council.
Right.
I'm concerned that, and if it goes to court, we would be in a worse, the board may be in a worse position.
Like I said, I'm gonna stay away from that.
Thank you for asking. Go for it. Next.
So just know that I live on 406 Cobain, and a lot of my neighbors are here. Okay, so I did forget my reading glasses. So most of this stuff is going to be coming attractions for next year, okay? But I just want to put this on the table. One is probably going to shock Mr. Pollock. We have issues. I think they're personal issues. But I do congratulate your campaign and everybody that voted for you. I will. Thank you. Oh, okay. Now we can talk.
There a nice
So-
shade on you too.
I look good? All right. So I do want to congratulate your 12.8 thousand voters that voted for you. You guys won. And I also like to congratulate, I think, Elliot, who ran a great campaign. So, and I look forward to working with him. I'm a nobody, so, but I'm willing to help on a few things that are on your list that, that I agree with and I'd like to help. Okay, so coming attractions. I would like for the council, everybody here, I think, has run on the concept of we fight over development, right? It's very easy. It's like saying you run against murder. Well, duh, nobody wants murder, nobody wants overdevelopment, but I haven't heard from you guys. What is over? How much is too much? What does that look like, right? Is it in 15 years our population doubles to 120,000? Is that overdevelopment or is that okay? I would like some of that. So, as you probably all know, I'm an accountant, financial, I like numbers. To me, words with no numbers next to them are just nice, fancy political words. They don't mean much. So I would, again, you don't have to answer today. It's probably a much longer conversation, but now that I can read, I'm bringing that out. Give me a second. Yeah, right. Define overdevelopment. Yep, we got that. Okay, give me just 1 more second, sorry. This is gonna be really quick. Yeah, so I do want, and this will take a while, but there's been a lot of bad comments about the planning board and the zoning board. And like I said, I'm on the zoning board. For this meeting today, I would just like for everybody to remember that all the members of the planning board and the zoning board, we are all volunteers. We don't make 1 penny out of doing that. I can tell you I have no backdoor deals with developers or anybody else, right? If I have any financial interest, it's maybe in Manhattan, maybe in Westchester where I come from, not in Jackson. The only thing I have in Jackson is that my wife one day comes to me crying and asking me, Carlos, can we ever retire in Jackson? I'd like to retire in Jackson because we like our home. And when we see everything that's going on in our home, in around Jackson, well, one, the taxes are crazy. Luckily, that's not, we can handle it. But everything that's changing. How much is too much? How much is overdevelopment? I really would love an answer to that. But you have a lot of time. Please don't answer today. By the way, I do appreciate that podcast with Mike, I forget his name, that you did, right? Everybody criticizes, you can't win everybody, but at least you're out there and you're taking those hard questions, and that's how we should all do it. Thanks.
Thank you, Carlos.
That's it.
So I just want to address a couple of questions that you asked. With regard to what is overdevelopment, I think that's a great question. I think if you ask each of us, you'll have, to a certain degree, similar answers, but different answers. The one thing I think we can all agree to is that 200,000 people, if that projected growth that was mentioned by council meeting is bad development. That is overdevelopment, and it's something I think unanimously, I'm gonna look around, I think everyone is in agreement and no one supports such planning. Unfortunately, as we said before when it came to the schools and we said about that resolution pertaining to 40 units per acre, New Jersey is not exactly a state that supports suburban lifestyles. It's something that the state doesn't believe in, I guess, and we need to elect more. And again, I don't want to play politics up here because certain residents will email me tomorrow saying you can't go ahead and start supporting certain parties over other parties. But we need to get better elected officials and more of the certain letters in there who would support keeping Jackson a rural community and wouldn't support affordable housing mandates. We're going to address more of that going forward because I think it's an ongoing conversation I think the public should be engaged with. I can tell you I had the opportunity of being on part of a court hearing today pertaining to our affordable housing mandates, where Jackson in my opinion, provided everything we were asked to provide. And the judge basically said on the phone, I want you guys to consider more. And I'm like, why would we consider more if we hit our mandate? We had 1,000 affordable housing units. Why would we have more? He said, well, before we get to the real settlement, to the real, the court hearing, I want Jackson to consider basically every developer who made a request. I think that's unfair, but that is the way the courts rule. Now I'm going to push back because if we did our job, there's no reason for us to add an iota more. And I don't think it's something that our residents want. So that's a short answer. I think if we go around the dais and asking everyone what is over the mountain, we will be here till 11 o'clock at night. I think that's a conversation we could have after the meeting. People stick around, and I'm more than happy myself to stick around a little bit. I'm sure some of my colleagues are also. I just want to address quickly. I know Adam asked questions before. Adam, the engineer, emailed me since you spoke. He asked, the engineer, Charles Cunliffe, asked if you can reach out to his office tomorrow and he'll provide all the documentation so you can be up to date with all the issues that you brought up. I will send it to you. I have your email address.
May I respond to Mr. Martin?
Sure.
Mr. Martin's really good comments, great questions. I appreciate it very much. I think that's a huge question we should be discussing and talking about. I'm hoping the question and answer town halls we're talking about, we can actually discuss those things. And like I said, everybody participate, be a part of the conversation. We're here to serve you. And that needs to be number one priority. We have to have an understanding that, like I said, the job's not easy. We have the state coming down on us. We're dealing with court cases. He's having to argue about the affordable housing. It's not easy, but we should all always have a conversation. And, you got to understand one side, the other side. And end of the day, it should always be what the residents need the most. We have to try our best for it. Attorney McGunkin, may I comment on the planning board? Not about any applications or anything like that.
You're free to say anything you want. The planning board is, there's one member of the governing body who sits on the planning board. Other than that, it's a mayor's appointment. So.
Thank you, sir. I'm very unhappy with the planning board, to be honest. And I understand their job's not easy. They're shackled by very strict, tough laws at times, and they do have to make tough decisions that a lot of people are not going to like. But what really upsets me is the way they treat the people. Sometimes I go in there and I'll listen to it. I'll go online, I'll listen to it. And I'm not sure who they work for. Do they work for the applicants or do they work for the people in the town? It does not sound like they're working for the people in the town sometimes. And that's very upsetting. And the way they speak to people is fairly reprehensible. I've witnessed our attorney liken somebody to their young child during comments. That's not right. We cannot speak that way. We cannot act that way. And yes, I got up here speaking tough, but you need to show respect to the people who live here, the voters, and the taxpayers. That should be number one. I do think we need a change in leadership when it comes to the planning board. I'll just say it outright loud. I don't care. I'm here to speak the truth. I'm here to speak what the people feel. And that's what I'm going to continue doing. Thank you, Mr. Martins.
Mr. President, can I have a word?
1 second.
Mr. President?
Council Vice President and then Councilman Borelli.
If I could just say, I think, we know for sure that Trenton thinks we're a piggy bank. We pay our income tax, they take it through S2 and repurpose it to Newark. We fulfill our mandates for affordable housing that the state put on us. They come back, they want more. So we just need to continue as a town to push back. Elected officials will do so. We ask the public to do so in terms of emailing, reaching out. We could go down to Trenton and petition. I did that on the Board of Ed. We could do that here. Whatever we can do, we should all be doing and working together because, again, we're just an open piggy bank to Trenton. They see us and they want more, more, and more. They want to take from us and give to someone else. This is not a socialist society. We're a democracy, a republic, and we need to fight for that because we're losing it every single year with Trenton control.
Councilman Borelli?
Council President, regarding Carlos's comment, and Carlos, you may have heard of this. Luckily, Jackson does have something working in its favor. We have like 44 to 46% of the land available in our town is wetlands. So we have that going for us. But with the rest of it, we got to do the best we can. I think we all are trying to do that on the governing body and protecting the rest of it. So, and again, we got to start reining in what the state is mandating for us to build, and because it's something that's not only something that our town faces, but it's other towns as well that are facing the affordable housing mandates. And things need to change, but I don't think they're going to change anytime soon, as we see from these past election results, unfortunately. So, but we got to fight the good fight on the local level and try to fight back against some of the I call unfair housing mandates, not fair housing.
Next.
Of course.
Carlos, just wait. Next. All yours.
Hello. My name is Joe DeProsimo, live in Jackson, bless you, Jackson, New Jersey. And I just wanted to comment on the historic win for Councilman Pollock, outspent, outmanned, out-advertised, still won by over 5,000 votes. Now, what I'm not here to talk about is a post-campaign discussion, but what I do want to talk about is why that happened. What is the interpretation of what we had just seen? Pretty impressive. And I think that people want change. And I'm probably going to echo some of the same sentiments that other people echoed. Play by the same rules. Everybody wants change. And there's a gentleman I feel for in the back because I have 2 LLCs on my street within close proximity to my home. One of them brought in mice and roaches, and the other one has 8 cars on the grass in a 3-bedroom home. And they left all their garbage on the front lawn. Thank God for code enforcement. You know, I got to say that sometimes I see the shifting of planning the zoning to code enforcement, and they have to bear the brunt of fixing what nobody's pushing back on. I'm very passionate. I'm very excited right now, but I am echoing the sentiments that a lot of people are speaking about, and I hear it in the speakers. Did you see the video of the planning, the last planning meeting? There was some fireworks, and as I was leaving, I saw a bunch of police cars pull up. Somebody, I believe, called the police. There were no threats, but there was passionate discussion with the residents. Chris, you're right. And I did hear that comment, and he did liken him to a 4-year-old. I heard it, and it's on the recording. You're welcome. What our concern is, and I don't know, Carlos, when you were on it, but I know that last year, and Mr. Council President, I'm going to talk to you afterwards because you actually wanted information the last time I spoke. It's all on video. I don't want to say the name in front of everybody, but it was a certain petitioner who got their way. And what I've seen I've been in 5 zoning meetings, I've been in 5 planning meetings, and I have better things to do. And I see that these people don't have their stuff together. Questions are asked, and they just rubber stamp them through. There's one person with a conscience on the planning board. There's one person with a conscience in the zoning board, but everybody passes the buck. And here's the scam. I worked in local government for 25 years. I know how it works. I've been to many, you're laughing, right? I've been to these meetings, okay? A petitioner comes in, they got 30, 40, 50K to spend. They get a firm to come in. They got their own attorney, their own engineer, their own hack traffic person, their own hack environmentalist. I saw them do it on my street. They sit in their car. They take a look at the property. This isn't against you. This is against these firms. They come in, they shove it down the throat of the planning board, and nobody pushes back. Nobody, Adam, thank God for Adam, because he pushed back against the biologist. I was there at that meeting too. It's very frustrating to watch. There's dysfunction on the boards, and you people need to address it. Now, in all fairness to you, because I'm a man of faith and I try to be as fair as possible, a lot of this stuff happened before you guys. Somebody said that. You're absolutely right. But let's not continue the dysfunction. I'll give you an example. I said this the last time. I worked for a police department for 25 years in Middlesex County. We had a developer coming in looking to destroy a ton of acres in the town that I worked on, that I was in uniform. And our lieutenant of traffic came in. Let's get original here. He came into the planning meeting and testified about the damage it would do with the traffic patterns and the lights and all that stuff. And a bunch of us supported what he was doing. So there were 2 officers in uniform, and we came to support him. And you know what? It worked out pretty well. We have to, you could steal that, by the way, if you want that. But we have to get original about how we fight for the residents of Jackson, okay? Everyone has to play by the same rules, and everyone is tired of what they're seeing. So I think I'm probably almost out of time. But listen, that's all I really need to say. Again, we can speak in generalities, how we don't want overdevelopment and we don't want the developers to take advantage. But I've been at these meetings, and there's very little pushback. And even when people raise objections and the petitioners don't have their stuff in order, you tell them, we're going to vote no until you come back another time and have your ducks in a row. But nobody's doing that. So I can express to you the dates. I can show you the videos. It's all on video. we can talk platitudes, but we've got to do something. And we got to do something about these LLCs, right? They just come in. LLCs weren't instituted so they could become slumlords and take over townships like they're doing here. So God bless you all. I'll be praying for you, and have a nice night.
Mr. Bannon, I want to make sure everyone has a chance first.
Hello, everyone. Donnie Edelman, 206 Willow Point. A couple of things. Chris, congratulations. I do want to make you aware of something, though. It's my town. It's your son's town. Everybody here, it's their town. I don't know if I can get you to apologize to Mayor Kuhn for the reaction, but apologize to us because it is
Order. Everyone, let him speak, please. His 5 minutes. We'll
it
talk
is our
after.
town. You just had a big speech about taxpayers and bring it back to the people. Please recognize everybody put you up there to defend us, to help us. So please, it's your town too. It's our town. In the future, it's always our town. All right. Next, can we get rid of the shrine to our former mayor who was forced out in the back there? You know, we could maybe send some of his awards, his trophies and stuff, put in a box, send it to his house. As far as the other lady who said, while I'm not crazy about paying for coffee and refrigerators and microwaves, it is part of, just what people do. I mean, maybe we shouldn't be paying for their coffee pods if they're doing Keurigs and stuff like that. Next, with the resolutions that were up there before, the DUI enforcement. In my other job, I deal with Chief Schneider and Sheriff Mastinardi a lot. It's a well-known secret that JPD has been very, very against setting up drunk driving checkpoints in this town for a couple different reasons from what I've heard. Do you think maybe with this resolution we can get them considering we have a major highway and we're on the way back and forth to the shore, that we have some DUI enforcement? Plus you see it all the time. Next is the grant that I didn't have a chance to bring it up the last time, the $875,000 to hire about 9 new cops. Who's going to pay for the other 19 plus years of their service, plus their benefits, plus their retirement? 875 sounds great, but that wouldn't pay for one for 20 years. It just wouldn't. In regards to some of the other things that have transpired in regards to, let's say, the Cardinale property over there and the building of that. I would like to say that maybe the townspeople should get a petition going so that this way we could file a petition so that when there's a major lawsuit you guys are going to lose, whether it's the cost of building the place or the full bore plus the penalties, that you guys pay through subjugation lawsuits rather than the taxpayers of this town would be on the hook for millions of dollars, because the way it's set up and due to the way that the penalties are, I know that maybe the attorney didn't, notify you all this. If he sues you and he sues you for 120, he can get up to 360. But basically the long and short of it is that Jackson's going to be paying to build those 1,400 units because of you guys. So maybe we can get a petition going so that we don't have to be responsible for it. Next, it's a well-known fact in town that there are cannabis sales vending machines set up at many gas stations. I've spoken about it with former Director Candido, who informed me that it is not a legal issue, it is a tax issue. I have proven multiple times that even that small child right there, provided he had his father's identification, could put it in the machine. If he had money, he can go buy drugs. All right, let's get rid of it. Let's make the police actually go do something, take those machines out, and actually go after the people who are, running the machines and putting them in their gas stations, because every non-corporate gas station in town is either selling drugs directly or they have these machines, in which case children can and have bought drugs. All right, it's as simple as that. While we're on the topic of that, because this school funding is dramatically short and we're selling schools, It's about that time where New Jersey's opened up and given the town councils of the state an opportunity to reconsider cannabis sales legally in town. And I think maybe considering that a lot of the sales come with a 2.5% tax that the town gets to keep, it's not a sales tax, but it's directly to the town, that we consider doing this. I know that there are quite a few towns that are making millions of dollars a year. And when we're talking about the Board of Education meetings, when the taxes are going to be going up 30%, 40% because of just the school funding formula and everything, it is something to consider. It is a vice, but well, if half the town's smoking weed anyway, we might as well. All
Thank
right. And just one other thing.
Donnie, 10 more seconds.
Mr. McGuckin, I just want to speak to you after the meeting. I have somebody I know that's been trying to access your office. They're a resident in Seaside Heights, and the gatekeepers are not letting the messages get through.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Edelman. So I just want to respond to a couple of the points that you just made. With regard to the resolution about the drunk driving with the cooperation with the county, so the way that resolution came about is that was sent, the Ocean County Sheriff sent it to our chief, Chief Kunz. Chief Kunz sent it to the mayor, who asked me to put it on our agenda. We absolutely support it. And I know that the language, if I remember correctly in the email, was the chief is extremely supportive of it. So I'm assuming if he's supportive of it, there will be full cooperation between the county and municipality in ensuring that that is followed through, which includes checkpoints. With regard to cannabis being sold in vending machines, maybe I'm going to the wrong stores. I haven't seen it, but obviously
You can go right to the BP right around the
okay,
corner over
I'm just going to
here.
respond to you. So obviously, I'm going to ask the mayor to follow up tomorrow with Chief Kunz and our law enforcement and look into that, because that would be a problem. With regard to overall legalizing cannabis, I'm sorry, I'm going to continue to be a no vote on that. I am not going to fund the destruction of the next generation to save our, to do anything. That's not what I'm going to do. I'm sorry, you got the wrong person. Maybe I'm old fashioned, but I'm not going to support, as long as I'm council president, putting such a thing on the agenda. With regard to development, I am going to continue to support ordinances that look at net acreage versus gross acreage. I don't believe we should be calculating in the density undevelopable land, buffers, wetlands, and structures that were already built. So I am proud of that ordinance, and I am proud of our legal team, and I'm pretty confident that we're going to continue to be able to support our position in court. If we took the position where we fought the state and everything, we would have the lower hand. But we are going to ensure that Jackson passes ordinances which are legally sound and that are defensible. And I think it's something that unanimously this council and this mayor will fight. And I hope to prove you wrong.
I just say, just because everybody agrees doesn't make it correct, but I guess we'll find out.
And Council Vice President?
Yes, thank you, Council President. So I would agree with Mr. Edelman on the point of the drunk driving checkpoints. If the chief is okay with it, it's up to his, I guess, discretion to roll that out with the mayor, of course. If it keeps our town safe, I would wholeheartly support it. And the point you made with the fighting developers, we're going to lose, and the council should pay for it. If Council President Bernstein said, we have sound ordinances, then we won't lose, but we will always have to stand and fight if they want to push us around. If not, you're going to have 40 apartment density housing here. So I think the vast majority of this town, including myself, want to see us fight more, and that's what I think we're going to do. In terms of the gas station selling marijuana in vending machines, but then you want us to sell marijuana anyway legally?
It's one thing to sell it in a
I
store
don't
where it's
support- I have
monitored.
three
It's another
kids.
thing
I have
versus
three
kids.
children here in this town. I do not want to be a town that sells marijuana. Like Council President Bernstein, as long as I'm on this dais, I will forever be a no vote to selling marijuana legally in this town.
Okay, then let's just make sure we get it out of the kids' hands.
Yeah. Mr. Edelman.
Yes.
Thank you for your comments. I was part of a council years ago that passed an ordinance supporting the prohibiting the sale and manufacturing of recreational marijuana. So I want to concur with my council colleagues. Our police department was totally behind us on that, and we will continue to be, opposing such a measure. I don't really know if it really generates that much money, as you were saying, though.
Millions of
for the
dollars
towns.
isn't wrong.
Making money isn't always the right way to go.
Well,
Sorry.
we could agree to disagree, but either way,
We're going to politely disagree.
You guys
on that.
are the ones in charge. Just as long as I said, as long as we can make sure that the wrong people are not getting it, then I think we're okay.
Next.
All right. Have a nice night.
Mr. Paul?
I'd like to address the comments directed at me. I do apologize. I did actually misspeak. Believe it or not, I'm a little nervous being up here for the first time. You know, I do apologize for misspeaking. I do not apologize for speaking back at the mayor, because if she wants to sow division, create problems, I'm going to talk back. I'm going to fight back. That's why I'm in this seat.
Chris, my thing was just making sure it's all for the town, all for our town. You know, it's all about everyone here. It's all about the children. It's all about the nonsense that we're dealing with. All right. Again, you're there for us. It's our town. It's your town too, but it's collectively, it's our town.
Ms. Edelman, you can talk after if you want. Next. Just by a show of hands, anyone else want to speak for a first time? Okay, I know Mr. Bannon. Still two more people. Okay.
My name is Ben. I live on
louder.
My name is Ben. I live on South Boston Road. I want to talk about this turning South Boston Road into a one-way street. You all know that this plan is flawed through and through, and yet you're still continuing to go on with it. I shouldn't have to tell you what's wrong with this plan, and back and forth emails explaining nobody wants to live on a one-way street. Anybody knows that you design a one-way street, if you're sending us east, there has to be a way to come back west. There's no way for us to come back. I have 7 intersections that I have to cross through in order to get back home. The new intersection you just created with the Muse, Beam Avenue, Castle Avenue, Laurelton, Georgian, Venice Mills, back to South Boston. How do you justify that? How do you just send us off somewhere to nowhere? I can't get back home. This is ridiculous. And then you introduce the ordinance by telling us, email with suggestions, and we'll take a look at it because we're out of suggestions. I emailed, I provided suggestions, and I was told a big no. I'll bring it up. I have on October 17th, 5:05 p.m., I sent a suggestion, turning South Boston Road, have them use traffic directed down South Boston, cut off Beam Avenue alongside Tilford with whatever you want. Put a curb there, put a guardrail. It doesn't cost much money. 5:09 p.m., the township engineer responded, we're continuing with the previous plan. It's final. So when exactly in those 4 minutes did you even consider my suggestion? Another resident, fellow neighbor, chimed in at 5:45 p.m. and addressed the council directly and asked, what's wrong with my suggestion? Councilman Bernstein responded at 5:50 p.m., addressing the township engineer, is it possible to have this done? Let's look into it. At 6:05 p.m., Mayor Kuhn responded, plan's final, we're moving forward as is. So when exactly are you gonna sit there and listen to our suggestions, look at it, instead of just continuing with the work that you already did? The work's done. What, are you gonna undo it? You spent $500,000. Thank you. You should vote based on this if you lived on these streets. If any of you lived on either South Boston or Beam, this would never happen. You would never make it to the table by having one-way streets. Who wants a one-way street? We're in a rural area. What are you doing? Vote yes and show everybody how you don't even care about us. Vote yes and show us how disconnected you are from the people of Jackson. Vote yes and show us how out of touch you are with what's going on your streets. Thank you.
I think there were 2 more residents who raised their hand. Come up if you didn't speak yet.
Good evening, Ryan Archer, resident of Jackson Township. First, I'd like to wish the council members a happy and healthy holiday season. As you know, I've been coming here for about a year on and off, questioning the legitimacy of the consent order that was signed by this township. Not in the sense of that I disagree with the terms of it, in the sense that the township did violate LAD and RUPLA laws, but the fact that there's evidence that the signers of this consent order might have been under influence. I'm continue to explore those options. extract the information from you people. Appreciate your time and energy, and I will continue to do so until I find out the truth. Thank you.
Thank you.
Evening, Jackson.
Just closer to the mic so I could hear you. Sorry.
Evening, Jackson. Jose Cruz, Cedar Swamp Road. My issue today is with R357. Frankly, can you explain that to me in simple terms, Mr. President?
Sure. 1 second. Sorry, just got to find my agenda here. It's a mess. 357 was which one? QPA? Okay, sorry, I found it here. I apologize. If you could just hold
let
it.
it run. I don't need a lot.
You can hold the clock for a second. Okay, so granting authority for approval of certain purchases through New Jersey state contracts. Mr. McGuckin, could you explain that?
So the township can go out to public bid for certain items. You need a dump truck, you need a car, you need this or that. The state has state cooperatives where they establish contracts with vendors for, I'm going to use cars for an example. And if you wish to use the state contract, you can go directly to the dealer who has to honor the state contract rather than go through the bidding process, preparing bid specs, going through bids to award a contract. The state essentially does that in advance for the year, and that's what the state contracts are, and that's what this ordinance would permit the resolution authorizing the QPA to make those purchases through those cooperative agreements, through those cooperative bids at the state level.
I'm not a big fan of big government. I don't like government at all. And frankly, would this not create a loophole for some people, if not backdoor deals?
Actually, it saves taxpayer money, time, and effort because the state does the work for the 560 some municipalities. I'm just going to say the town needs a Ford Explorer for its police department. The state goes out and solicits a price for that in the beginning of the year from every dealer in the state. They get the lowest bid. And now if you want to use the state contract for that, you call the dealer and say, I want to purchase a 2026 Ford Explorer off your state contract. Otherwise, the township would have to prepare bid specifications, send the bid out, wait for bids to come in from various contractors, various dealers, and then have to select from one of those. That would take a longer time and probably more expensive. That's the purpose behind it. And I can't explain anything any more than that, but that's what it's for.
My only issue, again, is circumventing larger government would allow us to have one-on-one contact with individuals asking for contracts where other...
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, sir.
My issue is that we may be circumventing large government, yes, and preventing us from spending specific funds, yes, but however, we'd be individually going from one person to another, so there would be the ability to have deals with people we may know or don't know.
Fair
Speaking
comment.
generally.
However, by law, the township can't just go out and buy a truck from a local dealer. They have to do a bid. And that bid is open to anyone in the state. Any car dealer in the state has the right to bid on that contract. So if we want to bid for a small SUV for the Public Works Department, we have to offer that bid. We would have to make that a public bid. Any dealer in the state has the right to bid on that project, and we have to accept the lowest bid received. So if the dealer's in Mawa and they give us a better price, we're obligated to take it from the dealer in Mawa.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. McGuckin. I just wanted to add one more thing for a second. Residents, before we talked about reaching out to the state, Mayor Kuhn, if we tomorrow, I'm going to try to get us a list of all of our legislators and their email and their contacts information, and we can maybe post it on the town website under a separate little box. We have two great assemblymen who represent their town. We have a great senator. And obviously, I think they know that we're fighting, but I think if we can update our town website to give people that contact information, I think that would be an important step. We got to continue making noise. Anyone else? I didn't speak yet. Mr. Bannon, I'll give you one more round. Can we give him 3 minutes? Thank you.
Back to South Boston. When would this go into effect?
Sorry?
When would this go into effect, the one-way?
So if the ordinance passes, which it would be a meeting in December, and my understanding is after it goes into effect, it needs to be signed into law by the mayor.
signed into law. It needs to be signed into law, then it has to be signed, meaning that Public Works has to put the signage out. Normally, in such situations like this, the police department will do some warnings for people in the beginning, but it would probably take about another 2 months or so after if the ordinance is adopted.
My suggestion then would be at the corner of Beam Avenue and South Cooksbridge, you post signs that 2 Bennett's Mills continue straight up the road, at which point you can tell them to turn on Georgian or Goldweber or whatever in order to get to Bennett's Mills, because I'll tell you right now, GPS, I don't care whether you're DoorDash or whoever you are. If you're going to Frank Applegate Road and you're coming up Cooksbridge, it's going to tell you turn left on Beam Avenue to get to Frank Applegate. It's the shortest point out. GPS is always going to instruct people the wrong way. So somewhere around that corner of Beam Avenue, to get to Bennett's Mills Road, there's got to be a sign directing people to continue straight ahead. That's the only resolve I can say, because GPS is always going to tell people turn left at that Beam intersection to continue out to South Boston to get to Frank Applegate.
I agree. Signage is going to be necessary. I agree.
So signage is going to be necessary.
Anyone else? We'll give you another 3 minutes.
Michelle Rayson, Jackson resident. I just want to provide some information to this current council. Back in, I think, about 2000, the state came in and audited the township under the local public contracts law to see if we were providing purchases correctly, and we were not. The state wrote up a report, stated that it was strongly suggested that the township create a purchasing department and have a purchasing agent, which they did. It looks like we've gone back to 25 years ago, because I don't think there is a purchasing department, and that's why the things are being done incorrectly. I wanted to comment again on Resolution 356. You also have to advertise for 20 days prior to awarding a national co-op. Not sure if that was done. So this resolution, I feel you should pull. And also, there was a comment on the last meeting about having one entranceway and exitway for residents. You should check into the fire code to make sure it's safe, because I don't know how they would look at that.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Council?
Seeing no one come forward, I motion to close public forum.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Could I have a motion to close?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Thank
opposed?
Thank you, everyone, for coming. Have a good night.